Hi, good morning. Well, it's almost afternoon, actually. Good morning to JT, Avon, to Rose, Ren, any other kids that are watching, but especially those lovely, wonderful people, um, kids, but you're people. I'm going to read you a story today. I miss you all so much, and I'm sorry I haven't been able to be with you. But there's a lot of, I'm going to say, kind of, you want to say scary things, a lot of things happening in our world right now that doesn't always feel so great um, for kids and for adults. So I thought today we would read this story. I love this story. This is, I think, really, it's funny, but it also kind of helps you think about different ways maybe you can deal with things that don't feel so good, um, make you a little bit afraid or worried about things. And sometimes kids get worried and adults get worried. So there's a lot of things right now that we're all kind of worried about. We're even worried about if we're going to have school. Just the different things that we do outside with our friends or family. So anyway, I just thought this would be a great book to read today. It's called Scaredy Squirrel. I don't know if any of you have seen it before, but even if you have, sometimes it's fun to repeat things. So book is written and illustrated by somebody named Melanie Watt. She wrote the book, so she wrote the words and she illustrated the story, Scaredy Squirrel. And here he is right here. Look at that face. It's like this. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm nervous. I'm scared. I'm not feeling right. But that's who he is. So we're going to find out more about him. Just a moment, because I'm going to turn it to the other side. And this is something important to the story. It gives you a little clue on the back cover. So those are bees. I'm sure you've seen bees before. They can sting. And it's not fun to be stung. But Scaredy Squirrel, that's one of the things that Scaredy Squirrel is afraid of. He's afraid of a lot of things. So let's start the story. And sometimes on the end pages, there's other clues. Look at that. What are those? I know Rose probably knows. She likes to collect things. Maybe you guys do too. She collects rocks, but I know recently we collected a lot of these acorns. I guess they're acorns. They're nuts, but they're a type of nut. So I'm going to read this to you. It says, Scaredy Squirrel insists that everyone wash their hands with antibacterial soap before reading this book. I'm sure right now you're hearing a lot about you got to wash your hands. You got to wash your hands. It's so important. But he wants people to have clean hands when they read this book. And I think that's important too, especially a library book. So we're going to do something that I know I taught all of you, the title page song. I love this song. And I know Rose likes it and knows it, so I'm going to sing it for you. This is the title page. This is the title page. Title, author, illustrator on the title page. At the bottom of the page is the publisher's name and the city where the book was made. That's the title page. So look at this clever title page. Scaredy Squirrel, and there's a bee flying and buzzing around. So again, another hint is to the story. And at the bottom, who's peeking? There he is, Scaredy Squirrel. So we're going to start our story. Scaredy Squirrel never leaves his nut house. So here's his nut house. He has his nuts. He's got a little hole of where he lives. He's all set. Here he is at the very tippy top, right up here. And he seems to be very contented in his nut tree. So here he is. And here's his view, right? He'd rather stay in his safe and familiar tree than risk venturing out into the unknown. The unknown can be a scary place for a squirrel. So to him, all of these things he can see are the unknown. It looks like there's trees and like a little river. This looks like a tree with fruit. Actually, it looks like an apple tree or something. So that's the unknown. He's never been to that place, but he sees it, never been there. A few things Scaredy Squirrel is afraid of. He is afraid of green Martians, killer bees. He's afraid of germs. He's afraid of sharks. He's afraid of tarantulas and poison ivy. There's good reason to be maybe a little bit worried about these things. Bees can sting. Martians are totally unknown. Sharks, sharks live in the ocean, but yeah, not in lakes or rivers or streams, but in the ocean. So you don't want to encounter a shark. Germs. Right now, we're really talking a lot about germs, aren't we? Like kind of the bad germs that are out there right now that's why we're wearing masks and social distancing and stuff like that. Poison ivy will make you like a bad rash and lots of itches all over your body. And then tarantulas. I don't know a whole lot about tarantulas. That might be something you might want to investigate, but they're just big ugly spiders. So I'm not a fan either. So he's perfectly happy to stay right where he is. So he's like, thumbs up. I'm not leaving my house, my nut tree. I'm happy. So here's some advanced. So when we're afraid of things or whatever, and I do this too, you think of advantages, which are like good things, and disadvantages were like things that maybe aren't so good. So let's look at his list. Advantages of his nut tree: a great view, plenty of nuts, safe place, no tarantulas, poison ivy Martians, killer bees, germs, or sharks. So here's his disadvantages list. Never leaving the nut tree. Same old view, same old nuts, same old place. So same old view would be like, yeah, that's the unknown, but it looks the same pretty much every day. Maybe it changes like in the fall, or maybe, I don't know, people go fishing or something and he can watch them do that. But other than that, same old nuts, same old place. So he doesn't get a variety of nuts or anything like that, because there could be other good things like that apple tree. He could get nuts from that, but he doesn't dare leave his tree. So here's his week: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So here he is: top, side, bottom, other side, top again, hanging upside down. I guess that's different. And he's back at the beginning. So that's his week. Is that very exciting? I don't know. It depends on the person. Scaredy Squirrel's daily routine: 6:45 a.m., wake up. 7, eat a nut. 7:15, look at the view. 12, eat another nut. 12:30, look at the view. 5 p.m., like dinner time, eat a nut. And then 5:31. So it only took him a minute to eat the nut. Look at the view again. And then finally, he goes to sleep. And his bedtime, it looks like, is 8 p.m. So that's his daily routine. But there's always a but. Let's just say, for example, that something unexpected did happen. Unexpected means something you weren't planning. Just something that all of a sudden comes up and it changes everything. You can rest assured that this squirrel is prepared. So he has this, looks like almost like a suitcase. It has a red X on it. If you see that, that usually means like it's like a red cross, and that means like something that helps you, something to protect you, something that makes you feel better. So sometimes nurses and doctors will have those kind of kits, or even in schools, they might have them in the classroom or on the wall or something to help. and a few items in Scaredy Squirrel's emergency kit: a hard hat, antibacterial soap, calamine lotion, a parachute, bug spray, a mask, and rubber gloves, a net, a band aid, and some sardines. So, this is a very strange kit, but let's look at it. A hard hat. Well, I guess people like Avon and JT, I bet your dad wears a hard hat sometimes when he's doing his work. He doesn't want to get hit in the head. Soap. Well, we know how important soap is right now. Calamine lotion. Well, that helps with like itchy, like if you would get poison ivy or something, that helps. Parachute. Well, that's strange, but I guess he's thinking maybe he can escape or something, like, I don't know, out of his tree. Bug spray. Well, bug spray is good. Like sometimes when you go hiking or whatever, you might put some bug spray so you don't get like mosquito bites or ticks or whatever. Mask and rubber gloves. So right now we're all wearing masks, aren't we? When we go out. And rubber gloves. Sometimes people do, even when they go shopping right now, they're wearing gloves, but especially like if you go to the doctors, whatever, they wear gloves all the time. A net. I guess with a net you could catch, I don't know, butterflies or what else could you catch? Maybe a bird. I don't know if that would be a good idea, but just in case, I guess. Band-aid. Well, you know what a band-aid's for if you get cut. That's important. And sardines. So this is the weirdest thing, I think, on this whole kit. What the heck would he use sardines for? Because I don't think squirrels even eat those types of things, but who knows? So let's see. I'm curious. What to do in case of an emergency, according to Scaredy Squirrel. So it says dramatization. That means just dramatization is like somebody acting out something. Step 1, panic. What does panic mean? Panic means like all of a sudden something happens that startles you and you're like, what do I do? Step 2, run. Well, you know what that is, run. Step 3, get that kit. So he has to pick up that kit that he has. Step 4, put on the kit. So he has everything on. The parachute, the net, the hard hat, the gloves, the mask, bug spray, soap. It looks like a Band-Aid and the can of sardines. He has it all on at one time. Step 5, consult the exit plan. So we're going to go over that next. Step 6, exit the tree. And he says in parentheses, these are parentheses, if there is absolutely, definitely, truly no other option. So that's like the last resort, exit the tree, because he really doesn't want to. But okay, so let's see. Exit 1. Note to self, watch out for green Martians, killer bees in the sky. Okay, so you're looking at the sky, you see the bees, you see the Martians, and there's the parachute. Exit 2. Note to self, do not land in the river. If unavoidable, use the sardines to distract the sharks. Now, wait a minute. Okay, that's what the sardines are for, so that makes sense now. But what does not make sense is what? Remember, it's a river. Do sharks live in the river? No. So that doesn't make sense at all. Exit 3. Note to self. Look out for poison ivy and for tarantulas roaming the ground. Well, I guess that's possible. That there could be like different types of spiders, including tarantulas, and there could be poison ivy. So that's a realistic fear. Exit 4. Note to self, keep in mind that germs are everywhere. And you know what? That is true. Right now, we're looking at germs that we never had before. They're new germs. And that's why the masks, that's why we have to all be careful getting together. And it's kind of hard and it can be kind of scary, but we try to make it the best we can. So anyway, so those are his fears and his plans. So let's see, on the very bottom, there's something. Let's see what it says. Remember, if all else fails, playing dead is always a good option. So what he's doing, playing dead means you just kind of freeze. You just freeze and you do nothing. You just freeze. Did you ever play freeze tag? That's kind of a fun game, actually. You play it with a bunch of people and you run around. And if you get tagged, you have to freeze. And then I think the only way you can get unfrozen. Somebody else who's not it tags you to unfreeze you. But anyway, that's a fun game. With his emergency kit in hand, Scaredy Squirrel watches day after day. He watches until one day. So look, he's watching for all those things he's scared of. Now, germs, is he going to be able to see germs with this? Does anybody know what doctors and scientists look at to see germs? They have to use a special tool called a microscope. This is not a microscope. This is a pair of binoculars. They do help you see things far away, but it's not going to help you see germs. So the other things he'd be able to see with that, but not germs. But anyway, Thursday at 9:37 a.m., what? Something unexpected happened. What is he seeing with his binoculars? The killer bees. Oh no. So he's holding, what is he holding in his hand here? That emergency kit. Oh my gosh. What's step one? Is he going to follow the plan exactly? Let's see if he does. Uh-oh. Definitely the panic. The panic happens. A killer bee appears. Scaredy Squirrel jumps in panic, knocking his emergency kit out of the tree. Oh no. This was not part of the plan. That was not his plan. He didn't think about that. It's gone. It's at the bottom now, isn't it, of the tree? Uh-oh. Scaredy Squirrel jumps to catch his kit. He quickly regrets this idea. Regret means he wished he hadn't done it. He regrets his idea. The parachute is in the kit. Oh my gosh. But something incredible happens. Incredible means like something that you would have never thought could ever happen in a million years. Wait till you see. I love when they do this with pages. There's that bee. There's that kit. He starts to glide, and Scaredy Squirrel figures out that he is no ordinary squirrel. He's a flying squirrel. Oh my gosh, he didn't even know he had that ability, that talent. He can fly. Oh, that was unexpected, wasn't it? He feels overjoyed, adventurous. Scaredy Squirrel forgets all about the killer bee, not to mention the tarantulas, the poison ivy, the green Martians, germs, and sharks. He's carefree, alive, until he lands in a bush. Oh my gosh, head first in that bush. At least he landed there and didn't land like on his head, like on the ground. I guess he could have landed in the water. That wouldn't have been too bad. But the bush probably broke his fall. That looks like a bush, apple bush, or maybe it's, I don't know, another kind of fruit. But anyway, oh my gosh, he plays dead. Because remember, if all else fails, that's what you do. 30 minutes later. That would be like counting to 60 30 times, right? Oh my gosh, an hour later, 2 hours later, he's still there. Finally, Scaredy Squirrel realizes that nothing horrible is happening in the unknown today, so he returns to his nut tree. So here he goes. All this excitement has inspired Scaredy Squirrel to make drastic changes in his life. So there's some new words. Inspired, that means it's like when you get an idea and you're like, aha. Sometimes in illustrations they put like a light bulb above somebody's head. That means all of a sudden you have an idea that's just like, oh my gosh, this is the best idea. He decides to make drastic changes to his life. Drastic means like it's so different. Like it's so amazingly different than anything he ever did. So he decides that he's inspired to make these drastic changes. So let's see what his drastic, look, oops, sorry. Here's his binoculars hanging. At least they didn't fall, right? He still has his nuts. He's still got a tree. He's still got his little house. Scaredy Squirrel's new and improved daily routine. Okay, let's see. See if you can guess what is new. He still wakes up at 6:45. He still eats a nut at 7 in the morning. At 7:15, he still looks at the view. 9:37, jump into the unknown. That's new, isn't it? He never did that before. 9:45, he plays dead. 11:45, he returns home. 12 noon, eats his lunch, he eats a nut. 12:30, he's looking at the view. 5 p.m., eats a nut, so it's dinner time, right? 5:31, look at the view, and 8 p.m., go to sleep. So there's how many things that are new? I think there's three. 1, 2, 3. Jumping into the unknown is 1. Playing dead is 2, because he didn't do that in his original. And then returning home, that would be 3, because he doesn't stay in the unknown. He actually returns home. So there's 3 things. So that's interesting. Uh-oh. P.S. P.S. means postscript. It's like one extra little thing. As for the emergency kit, Scaredy Squirrel is in no hurry to pick it up just yet. Look at this. What does this say? It has an arrow. Poison ivy. Oh my gosh. Where is that kit? It's in a patch of poison ivy. And remember, the stuff to help with the poison ivy, if you would get it, is in the kit. Oh my gosh. What is he going to do? I don't know. And here he is. He's doing his thing. He's diving into the unknown, into that bush. The end. Oh my gosh. That is such a good book. What would you do if you were Scaredy Squirrel? Would you be brave enough to get that kit out of that? Because the thing is, if you would get the kit out and you would happen to get the poison ivy, you would at least have some ways to treat it, right? To make you feel better if you get it. And most people, if you get poison ivy, you get over, it takes a while, but you get over it. It's something that your body, and with some calamine lotion to help, it's just itchy, and you just have to be careful not to rub it all over your body or put it in your eyes, but you can recover from it. So he at least would have some treatments. So this story, I think, is fantastic because it really helps not only for kids, but for adults too, to really think about things in our life that maybe scare us. Some of the things are things that really are scary, and some things we can think through. We can reason things out with another person. We can get the facts and get information. And everybody is going to make their own choices and decisions about how to live and what scares them, what they're willing to do and not do. And right now, we're kind of all in that place, right? So I understand, that you guys might have those things, those fears. But you might also be brave, because I think Scaredy Squirrel realized that he has some really good talents and abilities. And, now he can jump into the unknown. So this story by Melanie Watts, there's actually a whole series of books that goes along with this original Scaredy Squirrel. I think there's Scaredy Squirrel at the beach, Scaredy Squirrel at night, Scaredy Squirrel. I think there's some holiday ones. And I think there is, I think Scaredy Squirrel makes a friend. So anyway, I don't know if your library's open, if you can put in a request for curbside pickup. If you've never read the other Scaredy Squirrel series, I would encourage you to do so, because they're just fantastic books and they're so fun. And you can even pretend and draw a Scaredy Squirrel, or maybe make a list of other things that you think Scaredy Squirrel might either think is like a good thing to be afraid of or cautious of, or bad things. I mean, you can make your own pros and con list. You could also make a list of the things you like to do during the day and maybe the different times that you do them, like what he does. He has, his nut in the morning, and then he looks at the view, and then he jumps into the unknown. And maybe some of the things you do the same every day, and sometimes you do different things. So there's a lot of things you can do with this book. It's just a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I get to see you again soon. I definitely want to make some plans to do that. And we just got to do it right now in a safe way that makes everyone feel safe. Um, and it's nothing that you guys did or caused or anything like that. It just is where we're at right now. And we just got to be with each other and love each other, even if we have to do it on Zoom or sometimes get together. It just is something hard. But you know what? We'll get through it. We will. We'll get through it together, and just hug your parents, love them, and do art, write, and have fun the best way you can. And I love you and I miss you. You take care of yourselves. And again, read more Scaredy Squirrel books. They are really awesome. Take care. Talk to ya. Bye. Mwah.